Not enough nonsense in your life? Need a little more? Well, get ready, because these two have it in spades. Loose talk.
What are you talking about? Nonsense.
Even looser opinions.
Please explain.
And you're along for the ride.
Everybody strap in!
This is The Burble with Benny and Az.
And welcome to The Burble. Hello, my name is Benny.
My name is Az.
And in the studio, Az, we've actually, without a sponsor, stupidly without a sponsor, have flown one of our very, very, very loyal listeners of The Burble into the Burble Studio tonight to join us because an event has happened. They've released a trailer for a very famous film franchise, and he's a big fan of it. We're a big fan of it. And his name is Dexter. Hello, Dexter.
Hello, guys. How's everyone going today?
Yeah, very well. Now, listen, if you don't remember Dexter jumped on our podcast episodes ago.
Ages ago.
Season
1, I believe.
Yeah, you had a rant about the Big Bash cricket here in Australia.
I did call in for that. Thank you very much for letting me air my grievances with you guys.
How was your flight, by the way? We couldn't get him on economy because, you know, you were here.
I got an email saying that you guys had forked out for Economy Plus, and when I got there, I was promptly crammed into a pet carrier and stored underneath. So you wouldn't believe how bad chihuahuas smell in the flight across the country. Thanks very much for having me, guys.
Chihuahua farts. That should be
That's like an indie rock band.
Hello, everyone. We're Chihuahua Farts.
Yeah, we got CDs to sell at the back. Here we go. Right, this one's called Being Fed Corn. Anyway, coming up on The Burble tonight, listen, the reason why Dexter's here is we're going to talk about the new Star Wars teaser trailer for the new movie. This is episode 9, which is called The Rise of Skywalker. Okay, well, obviously you don't even need to listen to the rest of the podcast. Obviously, they've given their views on that. As on the podcast tonight, gents. Now, listen. Have you ever thought of blowing $1,000 of Botox injected into your scrotum just to impress the chicks?
I've been terrified by the thought of needles going anywhere near that, so no, I can't say that.
It does look like a wrinkly elbow, though, doesn't it, boys?
It does. Julian Assange, we're going to reveal how much it costs to keep him in the Ecuador embassy. He's pretty much now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. We'll tell you how much it cost. Also, the very first mobile phone call. Can you remember your very first mobile phone call?
Sort of, kind of, yeah, not really.
We were jealous of you because you actually had a phone and you dunce, used to put it on your belt like that.
But that was the style at the time.
It was, but like you're just going, hey, rob me, I have a mobile phone.
Yeah, that's true. But do you know how much I spent on belts to keep that heavy bastard up?
A woman's been fired for drawing an X-rated drawing on a bathroom mirror. Air stewardess, man, they are polite to your face, but guess what these air stewardesses are doing now? They're not getting paid enough, so they're selling parts of their uniform, and I mean their uniform, the...
People can't see you doing that, Benny.
The undercarriage.
Right, of the plane.
Of the uniform to make some extra money. Also,
are they
as
Japanese?
They're probably Qantas employees going from that description.
And a unicorn sheep has been saved from death by 2 cases of beer in our most Australian story of the week.
I take it back. That headline is wild from beginning to end.
It's all coming up on The Burble.
This is The Burble with Benny and Az.
I can't work out Julian Assange as because now look he started this website called WikiLeaks.
Yeah, he did.
And all of this stuff that he learned, he published on the internet and all that kind of thing.
The ultimate whistleblower.
So he
collated all of the top secret documents that have been pinched or leaked or whatever that said that governments and stuff are bad and like all the shit they did.
So how different is he from Ed Snowden?
Well, he's not. And the other one, what's his name turned into a her?
The Wachowski brothers.
No, but maybe he's got the real script for Matrix 2 and 3 somewhere in WikiLeaks. But no, the other whistleblower, Obama pardoned, and I am honestly out on a limb. I can't
That's
remember
okay.
her
Let's
name.
move on.
Anyway, she was actually complicit in the first release of Julian Assange's stuff when he released the first WikiLeaks stuff.
Yeah.
She got pardoned by Obama and spent, 6 years in jail?
Yeah.
And
it was pardoned.
Yeah, pardoned. And it was like, yeah, okay, whatevs. Just piss off. But Julian, the Americans came after him and he basically went into hiding in the Ecuadorian embassy in London.
Yeah. For 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
Now, did the stuff... He was only in Sweden for like 10 days. And apparently this thing has happened.
Yeah.
And that's apparently he raped a woman who then, soon after learning that this had come out, piss-bolted to the Ecuadorian embassy. Is that correct?
Kind of, sort of. There was this really, weak charge that the Ecuadorians sort of beat up because the American CIA or NSA or one of those alphabet agencies went, we want this bloke because he's making us look bad. We need to find some dirt on him.
Gee, that's hard.
Yeah.
How can the USA make themselves look bad?
Elect Trump.
He's got a point. He's got an absolute point. But this is pre-Trump.
It is, actually.
Yeah, anyway. So the Americans basically went, look, we want him. We'll do anything to get him. We need to find the smallest scrap of indiscretion. And they came up with this half-assed story. And it's never been proven that he actually did anything to Sheila.
Yeah.
And I'm not discounting rape and all of that. It's a horrible, horrible crime. And
absolutely.
It never happened. But
yep.
There's no evidence anyway. And so the Yanks went, well, that's good enough for us. Once we get him, we'll extradite him. And we'll put him in Guantanamo Bay and, pull his toenails out for the rest of his life.
Hang on, they're not even in Guantanamo Bay anymore.
That's what they want you to think.
Well, they said it's
Check out WikiLeaks. Anyway, long story short, they trumped up some charges on him and they were going to get him over to America and do nasty things to him with hot irons. So he went, that, and basically went out and got political asylum with Ecuador. And Ecuador said, yeah, cool, we're not happy with you getting trumped up and attacked by the Americans, we'll give you
asylum.
Asylum, yeah.
So, okay, why did he choose Ecuador?
I think they were the only ones that were going to actually put up with him.
He could have gone to the Australian embassy.
Yeah, but see, at the time, the Australian government was puppets of the American government. So the minute he landed in Australia, there would have been a force of American MPs and they would have just grabbed him.
So are you saying that he would have been a puppet of the Australian embassy? Would there been Waldorf and Statler sort of equivalent sitting in a balcony above him?
No, I'd like to...
go...
I'd like to think...
This WikiLeaks guy
I'd like to
he's
think...
not funny!
Okay.
Sorry.
I'd like to think that it's Nelson Muntz actually waiting in the airport. You came back to Australia, you dickhead.
Well, that's a cartoon. I'm talking about the Muppets. Sorry if you didn't follow the actual joke. I'm sorry you don't understand that stuff. Waldorf and Sadler.
Yeah, I get it.
But so he walks into the Ecuador embassy and
says, oi.
There's some Kermit the Frog going, we're going to get famous from this.
Yeah.
What the Ecuador embassy in the UK has
sorry, before you go on, just a quick news flash. They have now kicked him out.
Yes, they have. Well,
this is why we're talking about this now.
Yeah,
he's gone.
Entered. Yeah, exactly right.
They basically let the London police come and get him.
Yep.
And they've held him on. They haven't held him on the rape charge, which was dropped about 6 years ago. They've actually held him on a really, really dumb charge, which was avoiding bail in London. So they've actually charged him not with the rape, but they've charged him with the fact that he was arraigned to go to court in London and he didn't turn up.
He couldn't because he was in the embassy.
Exactly, but he didn't. He feared human rights crimes.
Now, let me just reveal where we're going with this Julian Assange thing. Julian Assange's 7 year stay at the Ecuadorian embassy in London has cost the South American country $9 million. It's been revealed as. The foreign minister for Ecuador released the figures as he detailed the money that had been spent on keeping the 47-year-old WikiLeaks founder after he entered the embassy on August of 2012. We're looking at a photo of him at the moment being arrested. Jesus Christ, that is the drunkest Santa I've ever seen in my entire life. He looks like Santa.
Like a Chinese knockoff of Gandalf.
The nearly $9 million, and we're talking about Australian money here, $9 million. Now, he was in some type of corner room, no bigger than the one that we're in now recording this podcast.
Yeah, it was tiny.
It was very tiny.
You couldn't even really skateboard around if anyone's seen that video.
Well, that's what I'm getting to. There is a vision of Julian Assange trying to ride a skateboard on a wooden floor in the actual embassy. And
in a pair of pluggers, no less.
He looks like shit. Let's not beat around the bush. Julian Assange look like shit.
Well, you'd look like shit too if you spent the last day of every 7 years inside with no sunlight.
Well, this is what I'm saying, guys. Like, I'm shocked and appalled to see him actually doing any physical activity, because there are people that I know of who are in that same sort of caper that say are about 43, live with their parents. All they watch is Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek, Star Wars, all that kind of thing. They've got no intentions of leaving the family home, no job. All they need is Wi-Fi. They need a TV. They need an abundance of burger rings, all that shit.
And box of tissues.
And a box of tissues. I need to bring up the point that Pamela Anderson was a regular visitor to the Ecuadorian embassy to see Julian Assange.
Yeah, she was.
She has not admitted that there was a relationship happening. Let's just put it into perspective for a second. One of the biggest videotapes sold in the world in the late 1990s was a videotape that starred Pamela Anderson and her then husband Tommy Lee.
People bought that. I could get that online for free all through my teens.
At the time that the actual Dexter, at the time that the videotape was released, the internet didn't have that capability unless you had patience and the fact that your dial-up didn't drop off to download that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
$9 million to keep Assange there. Did Pamela Anderson at one point bump her rates up? Is that part of the cost? Like, did he just go, yeah, chuck it on my tab, you Ecuadorian dumb shits? Like, he's in this room spouting off all this kind of stuff. Like, wouldn't the people at the Ecuadorian embassy just go, you know what, I'm sick of this silver fox wannabe drunk Santa Claus looking.
He's got Pamela Anderson coming in here, and I can't even pull the old lady from down the road.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Maybe they don't get Baywatch in Ecuador, so they didn't give a shit.
During the stay of Julian Assange at the Ecuadorian embassy, they tolerated things like him putting feces on the wall of the embassy and other types of behaviour which is far removed from the minimum respect a guest should have in a country which has generously welcomed him. I've got asylum in an embassy in a foreign country. What the are you doing rubbing shit on the walls? Dexter, I'm going to throw that question to you. Come on, step up to the plate.
I'm honestly flabbergasted. His future is immediately going into a deep, dark hole that America is then going to forget about, and he's decided that the one place in the world that I can live a remotely free life, I'm just going to wipe my own shit on the walls? Like, holy damn.
Yeah, I got nothing to add, really. That's just, I don't know. Maybe
you're saving my life. America's going to chase me yet. I'm going to rub my own shit on the wall.
I'm going to bronze up the ivory bloody wall there.
Maybe cabin fever, is that what he got? Maybe they just didn't get enough sun?
So when they arrested the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, in his little cabin, which they now have moved to a museum.
Really?
Yes. Wow. It's moved to a museum. I don't know if it's in Washington. I think it is. Yeah. But they've actually taken the cabin that the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, was in, and it's on display. Okay? Now, he had cabin fever. Seriously. However, though, did he rub shit on the walls? Was it an insulation thing or just...
Maybe Assange didn't have access to explosives, so that was his fallback.
Well, maybe he was doing a feature wall. You can only get so much shit each day, really.
That's true. Have a look.
There's no Bunnings over there. That fell in a heap, so he couldn't get paint easily in London, so maybe that was his answer.
Or a sausage sandwich on a Saturday. Have a look at this photo. That looks like that he's had a sausage inserted from the rear in this regard, and he's just looking...
If you want to actually break that photo down a little bit more and put on your tinfoil hat, the reason that he's in that weird pose is because of the book in his hand.
So what's the book?
So about 2 years ago, there was a massive file that appeared on WikiLeaks and all over the internet called Insurance, and it was encrypted. Right. And no one knew the encryption key for it.
It's a book.
Yeah, but that's the cipher for the encryption key. They knew that it was a book. Some of the other people in WikiLeaks and Anonymous, they just needed the name of the book to be able to unlock the cipher. So that's why he was so intent on turning himself to the camera so you could see the name of the book.
One thing that I need to ask you guys is that, like, I know you have cats.
Yes.
Dexter, have you got cats?
Yes, I have cats.
He has an abundance of cats at the moment, I think.
You've got cats, all right. Okay, so...
My cats have cats.